I wonder, have you spoken to any of the Republicans who voted to expel you on Thursday night?
Actually happened to be on the elevator with the Representative Bud Halsey who filed the resolution to expel me. I greeted him, and I also asked him, did he learn anything from this experience? He said that, it's part of leadership's decision to kind of ask him to file this, and, besides that was very quiet. But I think, the Republicans are in a point of reflection here in Tennessee, that what they did, they thought would happen without any resistance, but it has the world watching what's happening here. The Speaker of the House is trying to backtrack now. But like I said today, we are calling for his resignation. He is an enemy of democracy, and he doesn't deserve to be in that office as Speaker of the House any longer.
So just to be clear, this Republican that you were in the elevator with essentially tried to say that it wasn't his idea to introduce that, or tried to shirk responsibility for it? What was
correct.
his?
Wow, that's pretty brave. There you go. Reappointed Representative Justin Jones. They're talking on CNN about his interaction he had with Bud Halsey, who was one of the people who was part of ousting him from his position in the legislature there in Tennessee. So as he's talking on CNN about this whole thing, he said, it wasn't me, bro. I'm sorry, it wasn't me. I'm just saying they asked me to do it because it's just where I am. And you know what? This is the one thing. Let's look at Bud Halsey, who he was speaking to in the elevator. And imagine when Justin Jones, young representative there, says to this guy, did you learn anything, Bud? Imagine the anger, the seed it pumped through this guy's veins, like, you little young a-hole. How dare you talk to me that way? Guarantee you that's the way they think. I can guarantee that because the way they spoke to them when they were going through this entire process, which is probably why Jones said that. Did you learn anything? And it's not just to say it. It's because, hey, Bud, did you learn anything? Did you understand that there's other representatives in this body, and there's folks that represent people who don't agree with you? As a matter of fact, may have a good point if you listen to folks, but no, their disrespect for other folks that aren't like them, aren't where they're from, and they think shouldn't have the same level of power as them, they don't like that stuff at all. So there's a little bit more. Let's look at this next video, you guys.
And their constituents deserve their representative every single day, no matter what this Republican supermajority says.
Justin Jones with his fist raised in the air. You have been watching his triumphant return to the Tennessee state legislature, which expelled him just a few days ago.
There's a little bit more about Halsey, and maybe even more reasons why he wasn't very happy about this, because he's got a bit of a history when it comes to promoting, or in this case, protesting something he just didn't agree with personally. You can have your opinion, bro, but they like to bring their opinions to their positions of power. It was from this article. It said deep-rooted racism, discrimination permeate the U.S. military. And I'm going to venture to go ahead and assume that this AP article talked about the racism and discrimination that permeates the U.S. military. But Halsey wasn't very happy about that, and he demanded that the AP retract this whole thing. And he said this. His resolution, he had a resolution on this whole thing. He declared racism inside the military, quote, does not exist, and described such findings as false charges. And he argued that racism in the U.S. military is uncommon and not a large-scale problem, because he knows. I'm not sure if he gave evidence or talked about some of the things that they talked about and dispelled those things. I feel like he just kind of inserted his opinion there. Matter of fact, this is what he said. I think based on their numbers, that is wrong to paint the whole military with that kind of brush when that is not the case. He says, I think, but still said it's not the case. Anyway, I told them I would do it, and I did, and I'm getting a bunch of flack for it. AP spokesperson Lauren Easton said that the AP stands by its reporting. He's very upset about this whole stuff, Waz. As a matter of fact, if you say something he doesn't agree with, he's going to say you should retract it, even if he has nothing to do with the AP. He's not associated with them. He doesn't write for them. He doesn't own anyone there. He's no one's boss, but he definitely wants them to listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that the inner Klansman within this governing body up in Tennessee was kind of allowed to flourish and shine a little too bright this past week. And they got spanked for it. They got a lot of backlash privately, and I'm sure via back channels. People like, guys, this does not help us do what we do, which is sabotage democracy and sabotage the citizenry at large at the behest of our corporate overlords. This doesn't help that mission to be this blatantly obtuse and racist. But, you know, what I would say is that this is kind of what you see when partisan power gets to be so monopolistic and absolute. In Tennessee, the Republicans have a 3-1 advantage over the Democrats. They basically run that thing with an iron fist. And so they kind of seem invincible. I think you saw something similar with all the corruption in Arkansas, where, they're mismanaging welfare funds. So Brett Favre's daughter can have a nice volleyball practicing facility, right? But what you see there is these overwhelming Republican legislators where there's absolutely no check on their power, and they get to run amok. And this thing in Tennessee is just the latest example of that.
It's pretty obvious, but the thing is, they've always been able to, I guess, in their recent history, operate in this kind of broad daylight and just nobody does anything. That's why they're used to it. So normalcy to them looks like they're being oppressed. It's a constant thought process.
People stepping up, man. It's good to see people fighting back, and it's good to see that these are young state senators, by the way. The fact that they would even think that they could go into government and make some kind of difference is very heartening, honestly.
They don't like these uppity folks coming around saying these things, by the way. There's that one point that Jones did point out. He goes, we're looking to come for the Speaker of the House, Sexton there, right? And they're coming for him because of his corruption, the way he runs places. Oh, this is not over. Absolutely not over. Because now they still got their gumption. And how dare they? Just keep an eye on it.